Welcome to the Lawless Astrology channel. My name is Dabney and I'm an evolutionary astrologer. Today I am on the road, so it's going to be kind of a quick video, but I didn't want to have the day go by without talking to y'all about today's solar eclipse in Aries. So I want to start by first of all thanking you all for tuning into my channel. And as always, please, if you are a fan of this channel, like this video. It helps me so much with the algorithm. Okay, so the solar eclipse is today in Aries, and I want to kind of illustrate a story that happened to me a couple days ago. Actually, it was 2 nights ago, that I think will shed a little light on this. So I've had a burglar alarm, in my residence since I've been a homeowner for 15 years. And it was 3:30 in the morning and our burglar alarm went off. Now, 3 in the morning, you do not expect your burglar alarm to go off. In the middle of the day or something like that, you didn't set it right. If you have an alarm, you know what I'm talking about. 3:30 in the morning, that's just terrifying. So, I pushed my husband and said, "Wake up, what's going on?" And it was blaringly loud, and my heart began to race. And all I could think about was my son. And, I quick threw on some clothes, grabbed my phone, ready to dial 911. While, I have no idea what's happening with my husband, who ran out to see what was going on. That turned out to be maybe a glitch. Just a, Mercury retrograde sort of thing. But my guess is it had to do with the eclipse. So there was no evidence that anyone had been trying to break into our house. There was no one in our house. So, the adrenaline rush, and that's very Aries. Adrenaline, just like it wakes you up. That is the energy of the eclipse. So as I sat there, my heart, starting to slow down, but still feeling that adrenaline rush, trying to go back to sleep, I kept thinking, I can't live like this. Can't live in fear. Something needs to change. And that's the eclipse too. Something needs to change. I'm not going to live my life in fear. So wherever this eclipse falls for you, it's 9 degrees of Aries. And if you don't know how to find what Aries looks like, you can go to my website, and if you sign up, I will send you my beginner book, my beginner astrology book. It's a PDF that will kind of just break down what the signs are, and if you can read a key in any capacity, you can read it. And so you look and you get your chart. You can get it free from all different sources, like astro.com or Astrolabe. Look for 9 degrees of Aries and what house that's in, and then you can look and see what that house is related to. And there's a lot of videos. I have a beginner astrology video. I'm about to launch a beginner astrology class. I will put all that information in the show notes. But I think it's important to think about, where is this eclipse taking place for you? Where is 9 degrees of Aries? It's an important degree because it is, kind of a reoccurring theme. And a lot of times in astrology, we look at reoccurring themes. We look at patterns. And both Venus and Mercury went retrograde at 9 degrees of Aries. So there's something to this point where it's about our relationships. It's about our communication style. And for you individually, what are the different aspects that it's making if you are more advanced in astrology? And if you're not, just what house is it in? So for me, it's in my 3rd house of ideas and thinking in the mind, very much the mind. So as I laid in bed thinking about how I can't just be living in fear all the time, this isn't serving anyone, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to begin meditating again every day, because I haven't been doing that. And I was going to get more grounded and more centered, because I'm making decisions from a place of fear. And I think with all of this Aries, we're all getting a wake-up call But it's not, that's the lower expression is fear of Aries. The higher expression is courage and being a warrior. And in order to get into a space of confronting those fears, we may need to get grounded. So, a lot of this, as I meditated on it, was for me, it's in the mind for me. The fears are spinning around in my mind. And so I'm going to get ready for action to protect my family and things like that. But right now, there is no action, there is no healthy way forward until you can settle the mind, or you can settle your fears. So that's one story that I wanted to just kind of share with everybody, that I hope illustrates. It's kind of like you get confronted with something that wakes you up or that shakes you. And let me tell you, it took me a couple hours to get back to sleep. But that was the wake-up call to say, like, this isn't any way to live, and this isn't any way to make decisions from a place of fight or flight, right? Fight, flight, or freeze is what happens in traumatic situations. And I just did that video with Suzanne Sanders about the United States Chiron return. The United States is having so many different popping off activities. I just watched a great video with Kathy Beal and Louise Eddington, and I'm going to be on their show next Friday. So, where they were talking about the Venus star point return, that there was a 250-year cycle that just happened at 2 degrees of Aries. A lot of Aries energy, in the sense that Neptune is going into Aries tomorrow for 14 years, and I promise to have a lot of great videos on that and a lot of good content. I already did one with Ricky Williams, but I will have a lot of other guests on. I will give you my own take, because that's a big cycle. That's a 14-year cycle. So all of these new beginnings in Aries tell me that we're not supposed to be afraid. That's actually the opposite of the reaction we're supposed to have right now. Right now, we are supposed to be gathering our courage. And the fears with all this end of Pisces is really, really, really high. We all feel like we're in some kind of nightmare. Well, not all of us, but the vast majority. And this doesn't mean that there isn't truly danger. But in the face of danger, what do? Does it help to worry? Does it help to become paralyzed? What is the way that we can recognize what is within our control and what is not within our control? And if it is not within our control, then how do we remain true to ourselves? How do we remain focused and patient and know that this too will end? It does feel like we are entering a whole new phase with all of these other energies flipping over, and we're starting to see a lot of new action. I think things are going to accelerate. I also think that acceleration burns things out. So Louise and Kathy pointed out something really great in their most recent video, that the Venus star point at 2 degrees Aries, that return, the exact return on that day, took place the same day as the Venus star point return at Aries. So Aries is not the enemy. Let's just say that. Pisces at the end here is really confusing, but the fog's about to lift. Things are going to start to move forward. Now, that pace, I'm not saying that it's going to be fun and easy and that there isn't hard times ahead. Go back to my my fourth turning video, right? But you can also go back to my Henry VIII video, a Nero video, where I talked about sometimes these things are cyclical and happen for something that we can't understand yet, that it's a broader unpacking, a broader unveiling. So my advice for everyone during this eclipse season is don't have an outcome in mind, okay? But remember how powerful and strong you are. Remember all of the things that you personally have gone through in your life. And remember that this too shall pass. It always does. The only constant in life is change, right? So I'm going to do a longer video. A lot of you resonated and commented that you liked Pema Chodron. And I was kind of revisiting her Things Fall Apart book. And so I think that that's a book that we can discuss with the astrology. And so you can look out for that video in due time. So anyway, hang in there. Know that if the alarm goes off at 3 a.m, it really just might be a wake-up call to remind you that life doesn't have to be terrifying. If you are constantly scared, scary things are going to come your way. I really believe that whatever happened, why ever at 3 a.m. after 15 years, our alarm went off at 3:30 in the morning. I really do believe that was an eclipse moment where it was like, dude, get out of your head, find your inner buffet, find your courage, step up to the plate, and let's get on with it. So wherever it falls for you will give you a little clue. So for me, it was about the fears spinning in my mind. Get out of the Pisces. Get out of the, get out of the paralyzation. So wherever it is for you, is it in your first house? Do you need to, step up to the plate personally and get out there and have your voice heard? Are you somebody that it's in the 7th house and you need to reevaluate your relationships? Like, are you getting what you need out of your relationship? It is not a time to take action, but it is a time to figure out who you are, what you're made of, and you got this. So, as always, there's a reason and a season for it all, and I hope that this is helpful information, and I hope your alarm doesn't go off at 3:30 in the morning. It was a little bit of a shaking lesson. All right. Till next time, stargazers.